2, 1. Come on, Mike. Come on, Dave.
That's it.
Oh, yeah. I was going to play the One Shining Moment song, but I feel like I should save that for when the Final Four championship comes on the show. But we are in full effect here. March Madness. I am David Kitchen, a.k.a. Soccer Dave, and this is the Daily Fantasy NBA show on Insiders TV, sponsored by our wonderful folks there at DraftDay.com. With me on the show today, have the normal Friday guest, Mr. Dave Loughran, a.k.a. Laufey D, and Mr. Mike Leone. I still have you set up from the same shot you did last week. So
do you have me super zoomed in again?
No, I do not. I do not at all. But Mike hails from RotoExperts.com. He and Drew Dinkmeyer do the Daily Fantasy Rundown. So good to have Mike on the show today. There you go, Mike. All is better in the world. As far as the games tonight, Mike, you were saying that basically NCAA has thrown you off. And I've got to admit, I've had to turn down the volume a few times because it's been crazy.
Yeah, I went to the games in Buffalo yesterday. It was a lot of fun, and I've just been paying so much attention to that it's throwing off my Friday schedule with NBA a little bit.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, you can.
Why do you feel like you're better than us because you went to the NCAA games yesterday?
Because they were amazing, and the NCAA, that's my favorite thing to do. It's once every 3 years it usually ends up in Buffalo. It's a long day, though. I forgot how long it was. I was down there for 14 hours because you get the morning session, 2 games, then a break, and then 2 more games. And then one of the late games went into overtime.
Which one was that?
The UConn St. Joe's game.
Oh, so that was the...
So I got to see that one, and I got to see the Dayton upset over Ohio State.
You say Dayton?
I did.
Okay, cool. Yeah, there's yesterday was insane with the number of games. I'll be honest, I didn't play NBA yesterday. I didn't play the 4-game slate. Kind of wish I would have because I would have been all over the place. He had... How many fantasy points did he have last night? I know he went off, but how many fantasy points?
He had 56 on DraftKings.
That's a lot.
He killed it, man. He's had 43 rebounds over his past 3 games, where Kevin Love has a 22 or 23 in that same span. So, I mean, he's taking food off Kevin's table right now.
Yeah, Kevin Love just hasn't been rebounding the ball as much. But Jang, I mean, just out of nowhere. Not even when he was at Louisville did he have this. So, yeah, this is going to be... it's always good, starting the day when someone like Mercer upsets Duke, because the good things are in store for the day. Steve is being perverted in the chat. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat or over on the Twitters, and we will get to them. I want to touch on the 2 games tonight, the Nuggets versus the Mavs and the Wizards at the Lakers. Both are going to be just kind of run and gun. And you do have the Mavs that are 8.5-point favorites. But, Dave, I want to get your take on this game.
On the Mavericks game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Good. I'm glad you do.
there's, as usual, whenever the Nuggets are playing, there's plenty of fantasy value out there. I'm just pulling the game up right now. I'm trying to see what we got here. But, yeah, there's a couple guys that I like specifically from that game. One of them whose price tag has come down a lot is Dirk. This for you guys. Nowitzki, okay? At home against the Nuggets, who have really struggled to contain power forwards of late. He's not doing much recently. I kind of feel like the season's beginning to wear on this guy. You know, he's getting up there in years. But when you look around at his price on certain sites, and he's really cheap. He's 7,200 on on a FanDuel, 72 on DraftKings, and 13 on DraftDay. So, I mean, I wouldn't be afraid to deploy him tonight on sites where he's a lot cheaper. But Ty Lawson's another guy. Like, you can usually never go wrong with him in a fast-paced game like this, especially against Calderon. And then Fareed's been playing so well lately with big minutes, and I'll play him whenever I get the chance. And you know what? His price tag is still yet to catch up with him on a lot of sites. So
it just depends on. It just depends on the site and depends on, I guess, what you're expecting out of him. Mike, do you have
Fareed?
Yeah, Fareed. But he is getting the minutes.
Enough. Right.
He is getting the minutes. There's no doubt about that.
Someone's ringing my doorbell. Hold on a second. You and Mike, go ahead and talk. Go ahead and talk. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm on board the Dirk train tonight. Denver's, I think 29th in the NBA in defensive efficiency against power forwards. Points, rebounds, which is pretty much Dirk's main contributions, not a ton of peripheral stats. So he should do very well at 13 to 14% of the cap. I think that's an extremely safe play given the high total and the specific positional matchup.
All right, so if you had to take Dirk or Fareed tonight, who would you choose?
Dirk. I think isn't he come to the point where he's cheaper?
Yeah, he is. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It depends on Fareed's salary about what you're kind of expecting out of him. But I would probably side with you on the Dirk train because his salary is still like on FanDuel is 7,200, and
that's just stupid.
I don't mind him at all tonight. But for such a high over under, I guess the guy like Ellis would possibly be in play. I'm just so scared of playing him. But for being such a high over under game, I just don't think there are too many values out there. You do look, Ty Lawson missed and Wilson Chandler missed on Wednesday. Both are expected to play tonight. So it would be different if those guys were out. Aaron Brooks went absolutely nuts on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So if for some reason Wednesday was weird. Davis Maddox said it wasn't weird. It was weird.
What is he talking about?
He just said that, we already knew some stuff, but like basically
it was weird.
Everything from like 20 minutes before lineup lock, it was not normal. Because you had people that were...
Bron got scratched.
Wade was not playing, then he was playing, then he wasn't.
Anthony Davis got scratched late. I mean, that was still kind of early, but still, he didn't play.
Yeah, we kind of knew that Davis was sick, but still, like, we didn't know until later on.
But all of this, started happening around like 5, 6 p.m. Eastern time, and I'm at work at this time too. Yeah, it was a weird night for sure. I cashed on DraftKings in every double up with a 248. So it was a very strange night.
Yeah, and then basically Ty Lawson, they said he was going to play, so people had him in on late swap sites.
That was beautiful,
myself included. And then
O'Neal was another one that was that Tuesday.
That was Tuesday.
There was a couple weird nights this week.
Well, I looked around lineups on, I guess it was Tuesday. I can't tell you how many people had O'Neal in, and I'm talking like reputable guys. Actually, I think Dink had O'Neal in. Sorry, Dink.
Yep. Yeah, we talked on the show on Wednesday about it. But this all being said, like, we're getting to that point where craziness is starting to happen in the NBA, where there's a lot of volatility. There's a lot of unpredictability. You especially with teams that are not in the playoff hunt and that are in the tanking hunt. As far as players that are out tonight that we know of, C.J. Watson and Wes Johnson, but you do have Swaggy P back, so we'll talk about him in a second when we cover this Lakers.
Can we not?
Wizards game. Davis would kill me if we didn't.
Davis would quit FI and.
How do you guys not know? I mean, how do you guys want to talk about the Bucks when they play, but not about Swaggy P?
Because the Bucks are a different story.
Okay.
The Bucks are so much more fun.
Back on track.
The Bucks are the Bucks.
Can we guide this truck back on track? The unpredictability with the season. Mike, does this make you lean more towards teams that are in the hunt, or can you find value with teams that are out of it that maybe like a cheap player that you know is going to get minutes?
I think it makes me lean towards teams that are in the hunt, where in GPPs you might want to find cheap guys that might play more minutes than you think on the tanking teams, but sometimes you just don't know what they're going to do. It's just the uncertainty of the situations with those teams and how they're going to manage the roster and allocate the minutes that just messes you up. I'd rather stick with people that I know are going to get the minutes in the matchups that I like and just be a little more risk averse. I'm also playing a lot less volume, just probably now until the end of the season, just because of some of the issues we've seen this past week. I think it's only going to get worse up through the end of the season.
Probably
I think that makes sense.
You're probably right.
Dave, are you in the same boat as far as not wanting to chase the unpredictability of teams that are not in the hunt?
I don't think to the extent that Mike is, but I can definitely understand where he's coming from. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty out here right now. But on the other hand, if there's a lineup out there that I like, now I based my volume of play on how much I like my lineup each night. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But in the long run, it usually works out. There's some nights that I really don't like what I'm working with, and so I'll play a lot less. But yeah, regardless of how far we are through the season, if I really like what I have, then I'm not going to sweat it too much with the tanking, the teams that are in the hunt, because you have to consider that even the tanking teams, or even the teams that aren't in the hunt, are still going to play guys to see what they to see if they're worth holding on to. So you're gonna see guys get 35, 40 minutes in a lineup that regularly wouldn't have gotten those minutes. So I think it's all how you look at it and all how you pull that value from where you're getting it from. But I must say that the DraftKings, what's the big one coming up?
The bank shot.
The bank shot.
The bank shot. Neither the Sixers or the Lakers play on that Wednesday.
All right.
It's my birthday, by the way. Remember that. So that's going to be a very interesting night. I can tell you that much.
For you or for the bank shot?
For the bank shot,
Both.
man.
Oh. I didn't know if you were saying for you it was going to be.
No, sir. I speak of the bank shot.
Oh, man. Also, speaking of birthdays, happy birthday to Papa Cub. It's,
Yeah,
Today?
Papa Cub.
Papa Cub, yeah. Turns, I think, 47 today. So, happy birthday to Papa Cub there in the chat. Now let's move on to this Washington and LA game. This is the game that a lot of people are targeting. Someone just asked if we were boom boom powing.
I'm all over Powell tonight.
Well, good. I'm glad you are. That's the one question, and it seems like we should be talking a lot about the Wizards tonight as well.
Love it.
So let's talk about first your love obsession with Boom Boom Pow, Dave.
The love obsession is there for a couple reasons. This guy, it doesn't matter. Like, it's funny how he's almost immune to blowouts. He's immune to matchups. He's playing on a Lakers team that's getting cooked. 4 of their last 6 games, they've been blown out of the water. And he's still putting up 40, 50 fantasy points a game in 31 minutes. So in this game, which they're not going to get blown out of, I can almost guarantee you that much. You got Powell, and is Gortat ruled in or out yet? Is he a game time decision?
He's sounding very iffy.
Right, that's what I thought. So you're looking at a Wizards front court with Booker, Gooden, and Kevin Seraphin. Yeah, I'll take Pau Gasol all day, especially with his ability. Like I said, fantasy points per minute, man. Over his last, I think it was 10, 8 or 9 or 10, one of those, 1.4 fantasy points per minute. He's someone I really like tonight. He produces on all facets of the game, and he's going to have a nice matchup because the Wizards front court actually hasn't been terrible in terms of fantasy points allowed this whole season. But without Gortat, without Nene, Booker, Gooden, and Seraphin don't concern me in the slightest.
Yeah, the nice thing with Pau is because he goes through these stretches where he's not playing a lot, it kind of messes with his price. So when you're going into a game like today where you feel fairly confident he's going to see minutes in the mid-30s, he's just underpriced. And that kind of goes with what Laffy was saying with him being matchup proof. He's just got such a high usage rate this year. I'm looking at it. It's his highest usage rate since like 2004-ish. So I think he's just a really safe play. Especially if you can get him with center eligibility on Draft Street. He's 16% of the cap, and it's just a really good tag. I think it's a high floor play.
Yeah, 8,300 on DraftKings, and I think he's really cheap on DraftDay. He's 13.8. That's not bad at all on DraftDay. But the one guy to target on DraftDay is actually his brother tonight. His brother Marc Gasol is 11-3 on DraftDay against Miami, who's been absolutely torched by opposing centers over the past couple weeks. So he's someone to look at too. I like both brothers tonight.
Have you been reading Steve Finkelstein's mind? Because he's all about the Gasols tonight.
Oh yeah, Steve and I have a connection.
Okay, but I will kind of put this caveat in there, if I may get a little French with you guys. Safe would not be like. I know you say that Pau is safe. You look at I get his usage rate. However, his past 6 games, there have been 3 of those games where he's played 26 minutes or less. Now, in that San Antonio game,
I feel like with him, you can kind of foresee the minutes a little bit ahead of time. I don't know. Usually I wait till he plays mid-35s, and if you don't hear any reports of anything being wrong, he generally ends up playing mid-35 minutes again. And then if you hear, he didn't feel well after the game, then you just lay off him for the next game.
Right, and this is kind of what I'm talking about, though. The Clippers game, they lost by 45 points. He didn't have a great game. He only played 25 minutes, but 21-7 in 25 minutes in a game that the scenario is not going to be the same tonight. OKC, when they got cooked by OKC in OKC, 26 minutes. And then, what was the other one? San Antonio, he played 26 minutes, on DraftKings, he put up 46 fantasy points in 26 minutes.
Definitely. And I'm not disputing the fantasy points per minute in that contest. Against the Clippers, put up 28 fantasy points in 25 minutes. What I'm saying is that I'm not sure he's as safe as what we're making him out to be. That's all I'm saying.
I can see that, but I think the game situation plays into it a lot more than you'd think.
Okay, fair enough.
Wizards team.
Fair enough. Let's talk about Drew Gooden, though, on this Wizards team. Minimum salary a few places, especially if Gortat does not go tonight, which, again, Mike, you said it sounds like he is iffy. Are you comfortable with writing Drew Gooden, who is to coin the term that Matthew Berry used, I guess he'd be like a daily fantasy zombie. He's back from the dead.
He's good enough for me. Yeah, I'll
play.
Oh! Snap! That just happened.
All over it.
Why did I not think of it? I could tell, you had a little smile. You're wait for it. Wait for it.
And I needed my cue.
Now. Oh. That was so beautiful. I don't we should just move on. Okay,
and those are usually yours too.
I know. That's why I'm jealous. Okay, Mike, is he good enough for you?
Good enough.
Yeah, I think the price and matchup mitigates the risk of him just not being as good as he has been. We know he's not going to keep playing at the same level, especially probably shooting percentage-wise, but with Gortat iffy, He's played mid-20s minutes 3 games in a row. You would think he would get at least there again tonight. And then against the Lakers in a 4.5-point spread, it's tough not to take him for like near the minimum on DraftKings, FanDuel, even on DraftStreet at 9K where he's not near the minimum. I think he's usable, but I think he's almost, one of your best sources of salary cap relief on the entire day on DraftKings and FanDuel. And what is he on DraftDay?
He's 37 on DraftKings, and on DraftDay I believe he's 79.
Yeah, and he's 35 on FanDuel. I mean, he is
minimum salary.
He's going to provide a lot of relief, and I think he'll probably be heavily owned. So then the question is, usually, who do you pair him up with? We'll talk about that in a second. Though I want to kind of touch on Ariza. Ariza good enough for you, Dave?
Yeah, man.
I tried. I really tried.
I like Ariza a lot tonight, actually.
Can you give me Ariza's for liking him tonight?
Yes. Yes.
Got it.
Give me Ariza. He's good enough for me. All right, here's why. Yeah, so I think he's actually the cover boy tonight for Dave Loughran's The Insiders. And the reason why is that he's somebody that, all right, I know he's had some subpar games recently, and I know that his floor hasn't been where most of us would like. But he's come back with, actually, you know what? He's had 3 poor games over his last 10, but then you look at the other games with a 60 fantasy point on there, a 41, a 46. Last night he put up 34 on DraftKings. And he's facing off against a Lakers team that is literally allowing the most everything to the small forward position. I mean rebounds, assists, steals, points, everything. So somebody like Ariza that's capable of grabbing 10 boards and 5 assists and a couple blocks and a couple steals, that's somebody that I want in my lineup tonight because he can also give you 20 points, on a rare night. And you know what? He's going to play big minutes regardless. Even if he only shoots 10 times, it's good enough for me. I'm all over Ariza tonight. He's 5,800 on DraftKings. I don't know how you can't play him on DraftKings for all. I mean, I would really assume that he's going to be highly owned at 5,800 tonight.
Are you in the Ariza camp?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably load up on like 3 or 4 Wizards tonight. I wouldn't even mind given, price tags. They're 20th in the NBA in pace. The Lakers are 2nd. So you've got a team that's playing, way up in pace, a lot more possessions than they're supposed to see. And unlike sometimes with the Lakers, this is supposed to be a close game. It's a 4.5-point spread. I think, this is a very good spot to use multiple Wizards. And Ariza, he does a little bit of everything, which up-tempo game I think suits him. He can get some steals, get some assists, just get a little bit of everything without even trying that hard just due to the matchup.
Yeah, he's a must. He's a must play. And you're talking about the other Wizards. John Wall also in play.
I love Johnny W tonight.
Yeah, he's had
a good. I mean, it's the combination of everything, the price and the matchup. I mean, Wall 18K on Draft Street, I guess, is about right, but he's not.
You know why I love Wall tonight, Dave? You know why I love Wall? Because he can give you 17 assists in this game. He really can. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he had between 14 and 17 assists tonight. So,
and what, 8,600 on FanDuel? I mean, that's kind of silly. Right, that's like he's almost priced where an average game would be fine. You would take his average game of 39 fantasy points on FanDuel out of him based on that price, and you're pretty likely to get more than an average game given the pace. And the Lakers, I think have they dropped all the way to the last in defensive efficiency against point guards? They might have even moved below the Sixers, who we always pick on.
And the thing about Wall is, like Mike said, you'd take an average game at that price. You'd take him against Memphis at that price. Seriously, or you'd take him against a bad team at that price because of how favorable that salary is. And I think that you're not risking much. Now, here's the only thing. With me, they're 29th. Utah's last, Mike. Philly's 28. But Russell Westbrook is someone that I also really like tonight. I know the matchup isn't as favorable as Wells, but I think at his price tag on DraftKings and FanDuel, it's going to be hard for me to choose between the two, just because of how well he's been producing in those minutes. And I think that they're going to need to play him 35 minutes tonight against Toronto in Toronto. So that's going to be a little predicament of mine that I'll have to work out. But I think both are great plays.
Bazemore, yes or no? Quick.
No. You can't trust Mike D'Antoni.
Okay. You say the same thing, Mike?
Yeah, didn't you say Swaggy P's back? And
Yeah, but Bazemore is starting tonight. So
what's his price tag? I mean, that's a guy I like when he first became like a thing with the Lakers. I was kind of late to come around to that, so now I'm hesitant to dismiss him too quickly. But I'm meh on him.
okay.
I could take it or leave it.
So you're not.
I hate when people say that, Mike. I don't know.
At least
why.
he's not given the Davis Maddock like hand brush off.
Yeah. No. I don't hate when people say it like Mike said. I hate when people type it like meh. You know? When you say it, it makes sense. But when you type it, MEEH or however you prefer. Can we pause to recognize that Mike's not wearing a jersey today?
Is correct. He's not wearing a
I think
jersey.
I should go get one.
Is this the first time?
This
I believe
is
it
the
is.
first time I feel naked. I told you the NCAA is throwing me
I wouldn't
off.
mind that. I wouldn't mind that, Mike.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm also trying to figure out how to hedge second half NCAA bets while doing this show.
Oh, Mike, I am so proud of you. You said Kent Bazemore. That is so good. Why did you say that on the show? Why did you put that in the chat and not on the show?
I don't know.
Oh.
Mike, don't be shy.
Don't.
That was a goal. That was gold. Don't be
So I
shy.
didn't want to take any chances.
Hey, don't hold back. For people that want to talk about D'Antoni's predictability, we thought that last game Kendall Marshall would get over 35 minutes. He did not.
Scott and I both thought that.
Everybody's doorbell's ringing today, apparently. But we have Kendall Marshall with Steve Nash back in play, and then the lack of minutes. He got like 22 or 23 minutes last game. Not in play at all. But with Marshall and Nash at the point guard position, their defense is just terrible. That's
Horrible.
just the bottom line. Is they're terrible. So that's why John Wall is a must play. Oh, his doorbell did not ring. He was getting a Carolina jersey. Dun dun na 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 dun 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 na na na. Oh boy!
You look way purdier now, Mike.
Is that better?
You look way better, way purdy.
But
It's nice.
we have Kendall Marshall.
Very nice.
Don't worry about that echo. All right, next game that we need to talk about is the Suns-Pistons game. Steve just talked about wanting to roster Bledsoe, but not sure about the minute situation, if he's going to be hovering around the 30 or 35. Everybody was on Bledsoe before he got hurt. And looking at his game logs, he's not a bad play, especially against the Pistons tonight. So let's talk about this game for just a split second. Yay or nay on Bledsoe, Dave?
Nay, not right now. No, not in a 10-game slate.
Okay, Mike?
I think he's, and I mean this. I'm not just saying this where people say it as a throwaway, but I think he's an awesome tournament play because if he gets the minutes, he's going to probably exceed value just based on his price falling off. But the minutes have just been so weird. The minutes, it doesn't make sense. Like his first game back, he played 32, and I don't think he's even really come close to hitting 32 since then. Maybe he didn't.
Played 32 off the bench, and then he played 29 the next night, put up 38. Yeah, you're right, Mike. He's playing some strange minutes. Have they been blowing teams out?
I almost wonder if maybe he didn't feel 100% after that 32-minute game, good enough that he can still play through it, but maybe they're just being a little bit more careful.
Steve says that it's been the combination of foul trouble and Gerald Green being hot. So that
could be true too.
Something
for 4 straight games.
That's
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
a little
thing.
weird.
There's certainly a pattern there, and it's his. If you're
They
wanting
did.
his minutes to be around 25, and you think he can get a fit, if
Is he cheap anywhere?
11.75 on draft day, which is out of his price range for what the minutes he's going to get tonight.
Yeah, and 7-3 on DraftKings. I wouldn't touch that.
Yeah, I don't think I would either. As far as like from the Pistons side, Josh Smith really screwed some people over on Wednesday.
Me included.
That is because basically Drew said on the show that he has a pretty good handle on smooth this year, and of course, Josh goes and gets ejected, as did Vooch, for people that might not be keeping up. But this Pistons team, anybody that you're interested in this game, Mike?
That's pretty sweet. Me too.
What about
Feel
you,
the same.
Dave?
Wait, what is going on? All right. With the Pistons game, Josh Smith, I got lucky cashing on Wednesday with him out. I think it was Wednesday, right, Dave?
Yeah.
Perfect. It was such a great matchup with him playing power forward too, and I was really disappointed. But that doesn't mean he's not worth playing tonight. Now, I personally won't be playing him because there are other players that I like more that are safer. But he's definitely a nice play. He put up 25, 11, and 5 against them last time through 37 minutes. He shot 11 for 16. Phoenix doesn't have, their defense isn't intimidating, although P.J. Tucker's not too bad. But we don't know if, is Drummond playing? I heard that he was probably going to, but that was last night. So I don't know. If Drummond doesn't play, you have Monroe and Smith. That
He said he's still questionable,
Go
but he said that he is he's going to play. That's the status.
I mean, I would just prefer without him because it just it's one less mouth to feed. But yeah, it says it's likely that he'll play. So now you have Drummond, you have Monroe, and you have Smith. That's not something I'm really that interested in, but I wouldn't be against playing him either.
Fair enough. This Philly New York Knicks situation. You feeling anybody from this game? J.R. Smith, like on FanDuel, is 5.6.
I'll give you someone from this game.
Carmelo. I mean, we have to match a player from. We talked about like using Gooden. So if you use Gooden, normally you're going to want to use a stud power forward to
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say the majority. There are situations.
No, I agree with you.
As far as the stud power forward goes tonight, Melo, Brow, I guess on some sites you could throw in Cousins. But I mean, against the Spurs, that's strictly a tournament play. Basically, my question is Melo or Brow tonight?
Well, it's been kind of funny over the past couple of days because you've been able to play a lot of mid-range guys and not use those studs. If you've noticed, if you've played on DraftKings, the mid-range lineups have been really nice recently because there's a lot of mid-range talent between 7 and 8. But tonight, I do like Anthony a lot. Three games against the Sixers this year. He's been underwhelming. He hasn't been bad, but he's been underwhelming. But his price tag isn't really going to kill you. And I think that the Sixers are going to compete tonight. I really think they will. Look, they've really put up a fight against Indiana twice and Chicago over the past week and a half or week. And I think that says a lot about their character right now, regardless of being a terrible team. But yeah, over under at 210. And they're 12-point dogs, but I still like Anthony. There's someone else I like from this game though, and I think Tim Hardaway Jr. 3,700 on FanDuel. When he played Philly, he came off the bench, played 29 minutes, scored 28 points on 9 for 13 shooting. So he's not going to give you peripherals, and he is a risky play. But since that Philadelphia game, not including a game against Indiana where everyone played poorly as expected, put up 28 fantasy points against Boston and then 23 against Milwaukee. He played 29 against Philly, 38 against Boston, and 25 against Milwaukee. So if you can get 25, 30 minutes out of Hardaway tonight, where he's really cheap, I don't have any problem playing him. And Tyson Chandler's 5,300 on DraftKings. In my opinion, he's a must play.
Okay, so Mike, while you were sleeping, we're talking about basically pairing Gooden with a stud power forward. The question being, Brow or Mello for you tonight?
Mello.
Yeah, I think we're all in on Mello. I learned my lesson about fading Mello.
Hasn't put up really good numbers against Philly yet this year, and I feel like we're gonna get that monster game from him.
That's exactly what I was saying when you were sleeping.
Well, I needed to regroup.
We do have, in addition to Mello, I would stay away from Tim Hardaway. I mean, it's not a bad play. The other guys I'm looking, though, in this game is if Tony Roten gets another start, I think this is another optimal matchup for him. And then you also have Amari at value, where if you want to go Amari and Gooden and then spend everywhere else, you can. You would have to just load up, though, on the other positions.
Well, on the other side of that game, Dave, MCW is being overlooked. He's got a phenomenal matchup tonight. He really does, and I know he's kind of priced up there on a lot of sites, but it looks like that rookie slump. His growing pains are kind of behind him right now. Aside from the turnovers, which have been pretty brutal, but on a site like DraftKings where they only deduct a half a point for a turnover, they're negligible. They really are. 6 turnovers is 3 points. 8 is 4, so you're not worried about it. And against New York on the 10th, put up 23 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists. He had a triple-double. And how about this? On the season, through 3 games against New York, he's averaging 18 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists. So he's averaging a near triple-double. He's 2 assists shy of a triple-double through 3 games against New York this year. He's being overlooked. I think he's an excellent GPP play tonight. Maybe one of the best tournament plays out on the board this evening.
I mean, I'm not going to fight you over that one. I mean, like you said, last time the MCW played in New York, had a triple-double, 60 fantasy points on DraftDay.
I wasn't trying to start a fight, Dave.
No, I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not. I felt like you were so passionate that you were waiting for some pushback, and I'm not going to give it to you. I'm not going to give that to you. So
like I'm baiting you into this.
Yeah, you're trying to bait me. So stop baiting.
You don't like him though? You don't like him tonight?
No. I think, like I said, you look at the past 2 games, 38 minutes, 43 minutes. That Memphis game was kind of gross, but he still is averaging mid-30s fantasy points over the past 4 games. And if you take into account that New York game, I think that he's a fine play. And especially if you go for like Amare and Gooden, then you're going to have to spin at the point guard position. So I could see you going MCW and John Wall at the. And
again, when you take into account DraftKings half a point for a turnover, it really does make a difference.
Yeah. You have tonight a question. Someone asked about Gortat. If he is back, does that diminish Drew Gooden's value? Here's what I'll say. Like, Drew Gooden is an excellent value play as is, even if Gortat does play tonight against the Lakers. If we get news early that Gortat does not play,
must play.
He's a must play. So, since it's a late game and we might not have that news beforehand, if you go ahead and put him in your lineups, like, just go with the expectancy that he is still a good value play. And if Gortat does not play, then you get, you get all the bonus points, basically.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah. Hey, you, Dave.
I want to ask you a quick question here. If we get a minute, maybe we can squeeze it in. Talk a little bit about this Oklahoma City-Toronto game.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it, baby. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I guess I'll start.
Yes.
I think you've earned that.
You start. And then I'll go, and then Mike will go.
Michael. Just somebody I really wanted to touch on in this game is DeMar DeRozan for several reasons. For starters, Oklahoma City without Cephalosha has been just torched by shooting guards. I'll just give you a quick little example of what I'm talking about. Over the past couple of weeks, Joe Green put up, these aren't fantasy points, these are actual points. Joe Green put up 41 points against him. Harden put up 28. Jody Meeks put up 42, and Dion Waiters put up 30 points. So you have Gerald Green, Dion Waiters, and Jody Meeks that all went for 30+. Meeks and Green for 40+. DeRozan was in a bit of a funk. It looks like he broke out of it. He's averaging 30 points over his last 2 games. I think he is a phenomenal shooting guard play tonight. He always concerns me a little bit because he can disappear. He can fall off the map. But that might not be the best phrase to be using in these times, fall off the map, right? But, yeah, I think that he's definitely a solid play. And I have no issue with playing DDR tonight in any formats. Even if he's a little bit expensive, I think he could give you a huge game. And I think it's going to be close. So, yeah, I'm all over that.
Oh, man. Dave, 2 words. Too soon. Too soon.
No, I was being serious when I say that I probably shouldn't have said that. I was trying to actually, correct my wrongs, Dave.
No, it's okay. All right. Moving away from Lost and on to the game tonight. DeMar is, especially like if you are going cheap at the power forward position, you're going to have to spend elsewhere. DeMar is an excellent play at the shooting guard spot, so I am 100% in agreement, even though he burned me last time. I feel comfortable with rolling him out with where his salary is. I want to talk, though, about Russ and the Bulldog, Kyle Lowry. Both those guys have interesting matchups. Mike, yay or nay on them tonight?
I would rather play John Wall.
Yes. Okay, I get that. Like, we're all in agreement. So,
well, you think you can play both of them?
He's just saying, do you like them?
Like, are they? If you go cheap elsewhere, you can. I mean, it's not like LeBron and Durant. We're talking about
less on Westbrook than the market is, just because they're playing down in pace and Toronto's pretty good defensive efficiency against point guards. I know he's been playing really well, but I'm not real high on Westbrook for his price. Is that better? Did I get cut off again?
No, I'm just reading. I'm sorry. I'm reading the chat. Papa Cub is being irreverent. So
he's referring to something I said the other day, and it's pretty funny, I must say. He's a witty fella right there.
He is a witty fellow. I would say, I don't know. I would say I'd probably rather have Rondo at a slightly discounted rate than Westbrook or Lowry, because they both are going up against each other, and unless they get into this pissing match where they're just going on a non-efficiency site where they're just going right back and forth, I would agree, Mike, as far as I'm not as high on them as what some people are. I think some people have them as top plays tonight. So
I think. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Well, basically is I would probably rather have MCW than either Westbrook.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or Kyle Lowry. I would take Kyle Lowry over Westbrook tonight. I would.
The toughest position really is like those mid-range to upper mid-range point guards tonight, because Wall and Westbrook are grouped up in pretty close salaries everywhere. Lowry, the only reason, and I like Lowry a lot tonight, but the only reason I probably won't be touching him is because his price tag is up there. And when you're talking about even a comparable price to Westbrook or John Wall, I'm going to take both of those guys. But my God, every time I doubt Lowry, like, this isn't going to last, he goes out and drops a triple-double. He's been killing it lately. You look at his fantasy, he has 20-plus points in each of his last 4 and 6 of his last 7. And he's been really, really solid and consistent lately with big assists and rebound totals. Oh man, it's going to be hard not to play him tonight because Westbrook takes a lot of chances and he could get burned. But Rondo's another good play. I think with Rondo out there, I'd rather take someone like when you have Wall or MCW that they can actually score more even though MCW's been struggling. But Rondo is not going to give you more than 10 points, and that'll be on a good day.
So people in the chat are talking about Dragic. Dragic, if you missed it last week, there was talk about the Star Wars night that was coming up, and we'll go ahead and show you guys. This is what's happening tonight. Star Wars night in Phoenix.
I can't see anything.
It's okay. You don't need to. Basically, someone gave him a lightsaber. That's all you need to know. Goran. So it's Star Wars night. They've been promoting it for the past 2 weeks. He is an interesting play. Like on FanDuel, he's in the 7K range, where maybe mid 7K. Is it 75 or 76? Can you guys confirm?
He is 76.
Okay, so maybe not a bad play there.
I think he's another guy that I like better value-wise than Westbrook and Lowry.
I'm not huge on him. I don't like him with Bledsoe.
Fair enough.
I think the prices started to adjust for that, though.
He has 1 rebound in each of his last 3 games, and four or fewer assists in 3 of his last 4. But yeah, if his price tag is cheaper, then there's no denying that he's a good play in a high-scoring game. But there's just too many other options out there for me to really be on Dragic tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with rolling him out there. I think point guard is pretty loaded tonight, so
yeah,
you play whoever. Dragic or MCW, if their price is the same, I would probably go MCW.
No question, I'm going MCW.
I don't think it's that clear of an answer, though. I really don't. I think that's
because.
Go ahead.
His ceiling is so much higher than Dragic's tonight. I don't think there's much to dispute that, because Dragic has less than 30 fantasy points, and in 4 of his last 5 games, 3 of his last 4. I'm sorry. Look, everybody knows that Dragic can go off, especially in a matchup like this. But he's not the same with Bledsoe back, because look at Bledsoe's assist totals and rebound totals since coming back, and just look at Dragic's game logs with Bledsoe in. They're significantly less peripheral statistics. There really are. I mean, I'm not sure. When you have MCW playing the night, where he's going to have the lion's share of minutes and opportunities, for dimes and even rebounds, MCW's averaging 10 rebounds over his last 6 games, man. That's insane. So I just think that there's more upside there.
Nab Mel says move on. He's got to hit the gym. Buzznut asks Cousins. My question, like I said earlier, I think he's more of a GPP play against San Antonio tonight. I would not go there. Will say, though, as far as Dragic goes, what he does have is on sites where he's shooting guard eligible, and his price has come down. And he is, like last game, did have 32 fantasy points in 34 minutes against Orlando. And you take into consideration that he's playing Detroit tonight, he's still in play for me. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat, and we'll get to them. Let's get to the draft day rapid fire. If you haven't been there to our sponsor DraftDay, go there, click games, and then rapid fire NBA. And good for you guys that you're watching basically the best. I think that according to what I've heard, this show is the top rated Pick Your 5 show. So good to know.
I believe it.
Yeah, good to know. As far as tonight goes, Carmelo versus Anthony Davis. We're all on Melo. Second question, Kawhi or Tyreek Evans? We didn't really touch on this New Orleans-Atlanta game. I do like Millsap in this game, so maybe we'll touch on that later. But Kawhi or Reek? Kawhi went nuts in the fourth quarter last game.
He went nuts. I like Kawhi, but I'll take Reek only because I know that there's just a lot more consistency there. I think his floor is a little bit higher.
Mike?
I'm on Tyreek as well.
Oh, and Tyreek 6,200 on DraftKings for what it's worth.
Very nice. Ariza or Chandler? I'm kind of perplexed about this. Like
Which Chandler?
Tyson.
Oh, okay.
It's Ariza.
Oh, that's tough.
It's not
I
tough.
can
I
see
think
Tyson
it's Ariza.
I can see Chandler getting 20 rebounds tonight.
I like Chandler,
But
but I think if you're just playing those two, you got to go Ariza.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
MCW
guess so.
or PAL? This one's a tough one for you, Dave.
But I still got to go Powell.
Okay. I'm.
Pow!
I'll wait for your
Let's do
answer.
it. Ow!
Okay. Okay. I'll do it. Triple PAL.
Yes!
Come on, Dave. Yeah. All
I actually
right.
even put it in the article today too, Dave. I'm not sure if you caught that. Take a look.
I will. Amare or Drew Gooden?
Oh, that's really tough, man. Scott's bringing the fire.
He always has to come with one kind of gross one, and this one is it. For me, I think it's Amare though.
If Gortat doesn't play, I'm actually going to go with Gooden. I think he'll play around 30 minutes tonight, 28, 30 minutes, and I like how he's playing. But if Gortat plays, I think we got to go with Stoudemire.
Okay, yeah, I'll go. We're not going to know, so I'll just go with the safe side since this is the rapid fire, not the rapid fire max, Mike. And I will go with Amare on it. So there
I
you
still
go.
don't know what the difference is between those
Max,
two.
you want the upside, right?
Right, you got to go with the upside in the rapid fire max. So I'm glad that you're finally catching on. If you have any questions, feel free to ask
He's condescending, isn't he, Mike?
in the chat. Oh man. So Paul Millsap, I think he's in play a few different places against Anthony Davis. Am I off my rocker?
No.
Mike, you want to say yes. You
I
do.
mean, he doesn't do it for me tonight.
Wow. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So who does do it? Who does do it for you around that
like
price
Dirk
range?
and Monroe at power forward, I like better
Oh, yeah.
for prices.
You said
Or
Dirk.
paying up like Carmelo.
I agree about Dirk being kind of in that same range. I would still probably take Millsap a little bit over Dirk. However, I can't get on the Monroe train tonight.
I mean, if Drummond's out.
Well, he's not going to be though.
Oh, he's not. I thought he was out.
He's playing.
He already said he's playing. I think you were taking a nap when we covered that earlier.
Oh, I must have been. Okay. All right.
Chicago at Indiana. Anybody in play for you there? I'm fading this game altogether.
Gross.
Yeah. I just didn't know if you wanted to mention Paul George as a play.
Oh my God. Do not like you.
Boom, boom. Don't even know what that is. All right. Let's see. Napster Man. If I'm not mistaken, Nap is in the championship.
He sure is.
I'm not going to say much, though, about Nap being in the championship on draft day because he is very superstitious.
So am I.
I will just say, Nap, we are all behind you. He had a pretty big win, but was sweating it on Wednesday, but he gets to basically have a rematch with that same guy in the championship. So, best of luck to Nap, and I wish I had the Napster Man sound queued up, but I don't. I don't know if MacArthur is just trolling me or if he said if he didn't hear me say that I like Millsap, but I do like Millsap. So to your question, Elef, for Millsap, I would be probably the one that would have love. Steve says, I want Hibbert and George in all caps. And then just kidding, I don't hate myself. Al wants to know, can you get off the wall? Can you get off the wall?
Steve cracks me up because he'll take these guys that, like Hibbert, that he knows are going to burn him going into it, and then he just gets even more mad when they do.
Oh, yeah, he's a masochist. He is a glutton for punishment, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
you saw Al's. Can you get off the wall and give me a reason not to play Beal tonight?
Yeah.
He's a witty fella. He might be a couple minutes late, but we'll give it to him. We'll pretend you made that up, Al. It's all you, buddy.
Bill, yay or nay, Mike?
Yay.
I agree. Yay for me as well. Can we get 3 for 3, Dave?
He's alright, man.
Wait.
I'm not a big fan, but sure,
Did
I'll
you
give you a
just do the
yay just to
meh
make
sound?
you happy.
You just did the mess sound.
No, I said eh.
But that's
I
kind
don't,
of
I don't. There's no M in there, Dave.
meh.
Eh.
Yeah, but if you say on the computer, you don't have that.
Hold on 1 second, guys. I need
Al wants to know who is in the final, and it
Someone
is
I've never heard of.
Madness.
Madness.
Neil or Roten? Bill.
Mattress.
And then he changed it to Bill or Roten. Good, because that would have been a no-brainer. Bill or Roten, Dave?
Oh, you still got to go Beal here. Just do the upside, I think. But both of them are all right plays tonight. Neither of them. I'm not huge on either of them because they're both very volatile plays. But they're around like the same price range as a lot of other guys I'm interested in that we've already talked about. But yeah, I'll go with Beal there for sure.
Let's see. Utility spot on DraftKings: Foy, Bradley, Hardaway, Danny Green, or Stat.
Stat.
It'd be Stat for me as well. So, and I agree. Your previous answer with Bill over Roten. Roten maybe would be a tournament play if you wanted to fade all the people that were taking Bradley Bill tonight. Because Bill, I mean, if his shot's not on, I mean, he is going to suffer a little bit. He's not going to. He's not going to get you a ton of, as we say, intangibles.
But neither will Roten if he's starting at shooting guard. You got to consider that he was getting the big numbers starting at point guard with MCW out. So that does make a significant difference in terms of auxiliary stats.
Yeah, but you take a look at his.
Oh shit! Would you look at that? He's actually past couple games not bad. 4-4, 6 and 7. Yeah.
17, 7 and 6, 17, 4 and 4. So past 2 games, he has
not bad. But I still think Beal is a safer play. Beal really won't give you less than 27 fantasy points.
Yeah. Sports' fixes. Dirk only 5 assists in the last 6 games. Larry would have never done that. So,
I'm more worried about his rebounds.
Yeah. I don't know. You guys know that this year I haven't been a big Dirk guy, but
I'm not. I thank him for putting me in the money in the big DK game a couple months back where, what's his name, Nate Robinson went down and got a goose egg. But aside from that,
you really have to pick and choose your spots with him this year. I don't think he's
exactly.
yeah.
But when's the last time he's had double-digit rebounds?
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly not rebounding as consistently as before, where you can just almost throw him out there at certain price points. You need the price point and the matchup to be right.
Agreed. He's a really nice matchup tonight, and the price still isn't bad, but it's going to be hard for me to get on board with that. I'd rather take a guy with more upside, pay a little more for Pow.
oh man, yeah. That's why I'd probably take Millsap over Dirk tonight. That's why I'm in that. That's why I'm in that corner. But tonight should be a fun night. You get to sweat NBA games while watching the tournaments. Thanks to our good buddy Mike Leone for wearing a jersey and being on the show today. Mike, with the daily fantasy rundown there on Roto Experts, I think that it's already out.
Yes, Drew wrote today, and the content is up.
Okay, and the title has something to do with wizardry. I see that.
Yeah, Drew thinks he's very clever with his titles. I don't really have the heart to tell him otherwise.
You should probably hire me and Dave for that.
He's very sensitive about like stuff like that. He's very sensitive.
What's the title on it?
A little
daily fantasy wizardry on Friday night.
Yeah.
That's not what. What's going on there?
Yeah, it's Drew. I mean, but you look at Papa Cub and he gets it honestly. So, anyways, while the title might be cheesy, the content is not. I can assure you that.
He's a brilliant dude.
So yeah, he is brilliant. It's just headlines, not a strong suit, obviously. But I
hope he's watching.
I know. You know he's going to be watching it. He always, sometimes when he can't watch it, he'll watch it later, even after lineups lock, because he loves us so much. So he'll be getting to the end of it before he curses us out. Dave, thanks for joining us. Your article is also up, and you have one of those Wizards as the poster boy with Trevor Ariza. We talked how we liked him. Art Vandelay wants to know any bobblehead nights or revenge factors. I don't know. I don't know if there is or not.
Isn't Ariza? I think Drew pointed out in the content is a homecoming.
He played. He played 2 seasons, 1.5 seasons in for the Lakers too. For what that's worth.
Revenge and homecoming game.
Yeah,
but nothing tops the Star Wars night.
Hey Dave, who's your number one must play overall on the night? If the first person that goes into your lineup, who is it?
I think
John Wall.
Yeah, I think it's Wall. I mean, I want to say Gooden, but I think
I would say Gooden.
I think it's both. So it's a good question, but I think the
Gooden question.
The two kind of balances each other.
Just pretend I didn't say that. I really wanted to just jump. I really just wanted to jump in with you guys, but I forced it. That was the Dinkmeyer headline move.
Go, 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 shorty.
It's your birthday.
We gon' party like it's your
Is this for Papa Cub?
This is for Papa Cub. Happy birthday, Papa Cub. Tune in on Monday, and we'll be basically going back to the shenanigans. And also, Tuesday there's only 4 games, so we'll be picking all the Swag Dome prizes there. If you're in the Swag Dome and haven't registered, make sure you do that right now. Best of luck to you guys tonight, and we'll be hanging out on Twitter if you guys want to conversate. So
I'm really upset about that Swag Dome. The one day I didn't get in, and it goes I catch a 0, so now.
The lowest score is dropped, though. So
you get a drop.
You don't get punished for your foolishness as much as you should.
Well, yeah, I mean, hey, other guys had some foolishness and you canceled the game on him, but this guy took one up the butt on that.
Oh my gosh, you couldn't wait 10 seconds.
We're not streaming, are we?
Yes, we are. We are.
Man, sorry.
You know I always say, okay, we're not streaming.
I know.